another attempt at making this. I thought what I might do is try to make this smaller and more like this end. I've got to do the bending and make the detent, or the this part right here is actually where the contact sits. The post sits in these grooves, so this spacing from here to here has to be real important with this. So what I was hoping to do is I'll have to fit the bottom part of this a little later, but to come in like this, bend this over, and then epoxy it like this. I'll have to cut this off a little bit. I'll have to trim it up a little bit more, but instead of using this ear, I'm just going to glue this, epoxy it real good there, and hopefully that will hold. I've made this contact. I've fitted this. I'm going to have to do a little tweaking on the ends here because playing with it gets kind of distorted. But I think when I install it, I'll be able to make it fit. But the plan is to rough this up quite a bit. Put this in place in the center like that. And hopefully that will hold, and we will be able, I want to make sure this is not touching the shaft. Don't want that. I probably need to trim this off a little bit to give me a little bit more gap there, but I'll just file that down a little bit and put that in there, and then I can make the adjustments while it's in place after it sits for a while. Here's the plan. I've roughed up this phenolic wafer. I've roughed up the contact, and I'm going to take some epoxy and I am going to get it in center. Of course, I can adjust this one way or the other once it's set. Make sure this is not touching the shaft, and I'll take a couple of pieces of wax paper and put it there, and then I will clamp it with one of these high priced clamps and let it set. I'm going to use 5-minute quick set epoxy, JB Weld, and then I think it takes a pretty good while to really, so we'll just put this to the side and let it set and go on do some other stuff and see. And this may very well be my last ditch effort. If we can't make this work, can't get a new switch, we'll just do one jumper in here and default to a broadcast radio. It'll look the same from the front, it just won't have a shortwave, which I wouldn't. I'm probably not going to use this, but considering the circumstances, that may be about the best we can do. I'll show you after I get this glued. Now, to let that glue set up.
A few moments later.
There it is in place. Let me hold it. As you can see, this is measuring across the coil, and so when we switch it, it should be shorting the coil, which this is not totally zero, I don't think. my leads, whatever, 0.5-ish or so. So let's see if our switch is switching. So now if we can get all the rest of these contacts on this switch, life may be good. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get some Scotch tape and put them on there and try to hold them in place as I slide them on there. I put a sliver of Scotch tape to hold these in place till I can get it in there and maybe press these in. So good luck. I've got it to go in position, but I have to squeeze each one of those as I push it in, which I think is tedious. What I ended up doing is I had to take this bracket for this capacitor resistance board. I turned it took it loose and ended up having to push this around to get this to line up in there. I thought I was going to have to take the body of the rotary switch out, but I didn't. I was able to get enough clearance but just by moving that bracket there. So hopefully I can take a dental tool and press those as I keep applying pressure to them. The tape worked great. It held these in place. I use those little strips, put it in there, and then I've got the retainer ring in there, and so I'm able to switch it now. So, and like I say, that's not going to be used that much, but I did some continuity checks with some of the others, and it looks like it's going to work pretty good. Going to go ahead, go forward with this, and I've already checked the coils, checked the IF cans, or they're not really cans, but IFs, and checked the speakers. The one thing that I've got to follow up with is there is a choke. Let's see right here. That's notorious for being open, and I believe it is, so we'll have to do a little research and everything like that. So in the meantime, we're going to rebuild these caps, replace some of this wire, and just go forward with this stuff. Show you something kind of weird. Never really seen anything like this before. This junction, or this terminal strip with a spring on it, that's got one of these wires that's coming to this coil. I don't know if this is just a routing issue. This is not grounded. The spring is not grounded to form a gimmick capacitor, but maybe it's a routing issue that had to be in there. Don't know, but I thought you'd be interested in it. This choke, the initial check on it is it's open. We'll have to find something to do replace that with. There's several articles out there. We've got to rebuild all these bake lights and rebuild this board. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tuning condenser off, clean it up, disconnect the speaker to get it up out of the way. We'll end up doing some cleanup on it. It all checks good as far as continuity, and so that's where we're at. And so I'm gonna go ahead and end part 4. Hope you enjoyed this one. Give me your comments of what you think about the fix. For now it's fixed. We'll see how it holds up. It's back together, and so I appreciate everybody's input. Everybody, they gave me all sorts of ideas, which all were great ideas, and I had already kind of was leaning towards something like this, but I appreciate everybody's input. I got a lot of good input, and that's what this community is about, is is helping each other fix and all that good stuff. So I appreciate it. So from Larry, from the hills of Tennessee, thanks for watching.